Hey friends, welcome back to the Bald Booktuber. My name is Scott. We are going to be going over my November reading plans today. Today is October 31st, so looking ahead to the new month. It's amazing how quickly 2022 has gone. We only have 2 months left, so I need to get to work and hopefully chip away at that goal of 100 books read in the year. So I'm starting at 84 as we speak. So it's probably not going to happen, but we're going to do our best. So I'll be starting the month, and I probably, as of filming this, have already a little bit started with Jack Carr, book number 4 in his excellent Terminal List series, The Devil's Hand, which I don't have a copy of. I will put a graphic. I do have a copy of book 5, In the Blood, which I'll also be reading. This one I did get a chance to... Is it on this page? No. I thought I got a signed copy. There we go. Live film. All right, so let's see. Scott, Strength and Honor. That's what he put on there, so I appreciate it. He even spelled my name correctly, which is awesome. So I'll be reading those. I am a huge fan of Jack Carr's writing. I'm a huge fan of what he has done for our country as a former Navy SEAL. I just think he is fantastic, and I want to support him any way that I can. I do have all of his books on Kindle and on Audible. And then, of course, I have this in hardcover. At some point, I may collect the other hardcovers. We'll see. But until then, he's got book 6 coming out next year in May. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the name of it, and I can't be bothered to check, but it's coming. So I want to be ready for it, so I'm going to knock out books 4 and 5 here in the month of November to start off. So we're off to a great start. All right. I didn't get to many things in October. One of the things I didn't get to that I thought I was going to get to was Matthew Corbett, book 5, I think so, Freedom of the Mask. So what I'm going to do instead is I'll read the remaining 3 books available to me in the Corbett series here in November. That's my plan. So I'll start with Freedom of the Mask. I'll then read Cardinal Black, and then I'll read The King of Shadows, which was published this year. So it is my understanding that there's one more book in the series. I don't know if he's currently working on it or when it's supposed to publish, but I will be ready for it when it gets there. It has been absolutely phenomenal. I have loved everything in the Corbett series. You can listen to reviews of the first book I have on the channel. You can listen to me gush about the series in other videos, but suffice it to say, one of my favorite discoveries this year has been this series. So can't wait to wrap it up and wait for the next one. And then the remaining stuff to read actually releases in November. So one of them I'm extremely excited about and I've talked about ad nauseum. One of them I am mildly excited about, and we'll talk about both. So I will be reading The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 4 of Mistborn Era 2. I don't love Mistborn Era 2. I don't hate it, but it is certainly not one of my favorite series, as Mistborn Era 1 is. So Era 2 is about 150 years later. Mostly new cast of characters, a few cameos and people that show back up, but Wax and Wayne, our 2 primary characters, are not my favorites. At times, Wayne makes me laugh with his little quippy nature. Mostly, he just makes me kind of roll my eyes. Wax is perhaps the most boring main character that has ever been on a page, which is too bad because I think a lot of cool things could have come from that character and his powers and stuff. So I did actually get an arc of the first 10 chapters or so, not the entire book, but the first 10 chapters. And I read the first chapter, and it is Wayne is I think, 11 or 12-year-old, and Wayne is a 30-something man that already acts 11 or 12. So wasn't necessarily the way I would have wanted the story to start. I do think, if I remember right, we had a prologue in a similar vein with Bands of Mourning, where it was a young Wax, which I liked that prologue quite a bit more. And I did enjoy that book ultimately, book 3, Bands of Mourning. So I'm holding out hope it'll be good. Sanderson is more hit than miss for me. I do love Stormlight Archive. It's one of my favorite series. I love Mistborn Era 1. I love Warbreaker, his standalone. So there's a lot of stuff to love there. Emperor's Soul, the novella, is probably my favorite thing he's written. But then on the other end of the spectrum, Era 2 is just kind of not great for me, and I've DNF'd Elantris twice. So I haven't even completed that book yet. Usually around the 50 page to 100 page mark, I just can't get into it. So hit and miss, but more hit than miss. So I'm hoping this will have a satisfying conclusion for the second era of Mistborn. I do really love the world. I really do love their powers and abilities and the magic systems involved. So I'm hopeful, but it'll go how it'll go. That one releases on the 15th of November. I will likely just be listening to it via Michael Kramer's narration. Kramer is not my favorite narrator by a long shot, but I do love his work with the Mistborn series. So not the biggest fan of his Wheel of Time and Stormlight narrations with his wife, Kate Redding. Just not my favorite. But as a doing his own thing, doing Mistborn, I think he's quite good. So we'll see how that goes. That's how I'm probably going to read it on release day. And then finally, I just wrapped up the reread of these chunky boys. I talked about in my October wrap-up, which will probably air after this video by a day or two. So the third and final concluding book, The Lonesome Crown, which I'll put a graphic up of, does release on November 29th. And I am crazy excited for it. It was one of my most anticipated releases of the year. I can't wait to get to it. I have put in a request for an advanced reader copy for it. But thus far, it's been crickets. So that was about 2.5 weeks ago. So well, they haven't denied me yet, but they also haven't approved me. So we'll see how it goes. But if I don't get it early, I'll get it when everybody else does, which will be perfectly fine. I'll immersively read it with the exceptional Tim Gerard Reynolds, TGR, my boy. He is a fantastic narrator, and I love his work in the Five Warrior Angels world. So those are my November plans. One other quick note, starting in January, starting next year, I will be taking part in a collaboration with several other wonderful creators here on the YouTube platform, BookTube. So it will be led by Joanna and Yolene at Yolene Reads, and Alex at Tall Guy Reads, and Joanna at Joanna Stormblessed. I have been asked very graciously to join them in a reread of A Song of Ice and Fire, which is my favorite series of all time by a lot. I talk about George's work a lot, so I am super stoked to join them. We will be having sort of a kickoff video on Joanna's channel on Saturday the 5th. I hope you all tune in to check it out. I believe it's at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'll have more details on the community tab and likely put out another video talking about it when it's ready to drop. But I hope you'll tag along with us on the journey. Everything is always just I want to reread Song of Ice and Fire. So when I read other stuff, in the back of my mind, I'm always just, I want to get back to A Song of Ice and Fire. So I'm finally getting back to it. It's been a few years since my last reread, so I am by no means an expert, but I am just a very passionate fan of the world and the characters and George himself. So I can't wait to talk to these fine folks about it, and that will be coming, and next year will be the year of A Song of Ice and Fire, so be on the lookout for that video dropping. I believe we're doing it live. I'll have to verify, and if we are, I'm sure we'll take questions and stuff. So exciting times ahead. I hope you'll join and tag along with us. So that's November. I hope to do more actually than I have plotted out here, but these are the ones that I for sure want to get to. So we shall see. Hopefully November is significantly better than October in terms of productivity, because October was not great. So it kind of threw me behind the 8 ball. So that's all right. Anyway, I am rambling, so thanks for joining me. I appreciate everyone, and thanks so much as always. And as always, publication order always, my friends.